We are so excited that you're about to listen to the Cultivate OKC podcast. The podcast is a product of the Cultivate OKC Venture Accelerator. Our hope is that Oklahoma City will become famous for an atmosphere of flourishing. We believe in a courageous and connected movement of entrepreneurs leading redemptive ventures will play an outsized role in that story. Today's episode is a chapter in that story. Now let's jump in.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I am Tracy with Cultivate OKC, and we are an accelerator program for businesses, for startups who want to make a difference in their community, who want to create a redemptive culture in their community. We are here to make sure that everyone in Oklahoma City is able to flourish, not just the privileged, not just the connected, but we want everyone to succeed and thrive. And we're so pumped about creating this culture with the entrepreneurs because they have a unique stage out in the world to be able to make a difference. And so that is why we're here. And I have with me today, I have a sidekick today. Well, I would say partner in crime more than sidekick. Because sidekick, you think of, the little sidecar on the motorcycle, or you think of Robin. You're way cooler than Robin, Natanya. I have Miss Natanya Hernandez with me today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm excited.
Yeah. Anything going on in your world today?
Nothing crazy. I'm picking up my sister. Haven't seen her in a while today, so I'm excited.
Okay. Get some family time.
Yes.
There you go. That's always good. We're heading into the weekend. I don't know when you're listening to us, listeners, but it's Friday for all of us. So we all have a little bit extra kick in our step today. So yay, it's Friday. We have with us today Miss Michelle Reynolds and Miss Pam Greening of Growing Oaks Federal Credit Union. Ladies, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's great to be with you.
Awesome. Now, you guys are down in a little town close to Norman, right?
Yes, Goldsby, Oklahoma. We're about 5 minutes outside, right off of I-35.
Do you guys have something famous you're famous for in Goldsby? Is there ever gold in Goldsby?
I tell you, there's some awesome catfish. There's a restaurant right off the highway. And I'll give Libby's a plug there. So amazing fried catfish. So.
Okay. If you need some good catfish, head down to Goldsby. There you go. Okay, so ladies, tell us each a little bit about you personally, professionally, and then something unique about you. Because I don't like to do people's bios because bios are boring, right? Nobody wants to hear about all the Rotary awards you've won. We want to hear something unique about you, and then something that made you smile this week.
Well, after more than 30 years of banking, I made loans to individuals and businesses to meet my monthly quotas. And God allowed me to repurpose my career and teach people now how to be good stewards of their God-given resources, as well as get out of debt and live generous lifestyles. Something that made me smile today, well, we've got a couple that's attending one of our 12-week elevation station classes, and after a few weeks of working on the budget, it was challenging because she works on commission. We were able to nail it down and get them a spending plan. And I see the husband with such self-confidence look at his wife and say, I think we can do this. We've got this. Our emergency fund can be fully funded by the end of this year, and just such excitement. And just the thrill to see people's lives being turned around, and just, like I said, self-confidence and knowing they can do it, being able to know where they spend their money and how they spend it, and just be better stewards of that.
What an exciting thing to be a part of the process of that, because financial stress is just huge. It's huge. And to be able to help people reach their goals, that's exciting. Now, you said offline before we started that you were going to run some fence this weekend. That mean that you have do you have cows? What do you have? What are you fencing in?
We do have cows. We moved to the country about 3 years ago, so this is all new to me. And my husband decided he wants to raise cattle. So we have 15 head, and then we have one bull, and we have one calf still on the way. So It's his venture, but I get to join in it when fence mending comes in. So it's a lot of fun.
Nice. You're such a good wife to get out there because fencing is not fun. Nobody wants to do the fencing stuff. That's the not sexy part of cowboying, right? That's the boring side. But you got to keep them in. Oh, that's so funny. Miss Pam, tell us about you.
Hey, I'm Pam. Let's see. Have been in banking for over 40 years too, and I'm originally from Chicago. I spent the first 2/3 of my life up in Chicago. A cowgirl wannabe. Started asking for a pony when I was about 3 years old, and so my husband, who's from this part of the country, said, about 25 years ago, said, let's move to Oklahoma. So we did. And so I really have found my home here in Oklahoma, and I get to look out my kitchen window and see my horses. And yeah, so, I'm in that time of my life I call pre-retirement. So I passed my 65th birthday yesterday. And, when you're in your career, you're thinking, oh, I can't wait to retire, and start enjoying life, and I've just enjoyed life all along. Don't want to retire. So I call it pre-retirement. I'm in that stage, may never retire, so that's kind of where I'm living and enjoying right now. So.
Nice. Well, happy late birthday, by the way. That's exciting. Yes. And you can't see, but Miss Pam has a beautiful painting of horses on her wall. So she loves the horses. Horses are fun, and I think people have a really romantic idea about them, but they're a lot of work too.
Well, when you love them, there's not a day of work in it.
Okay,
they're
good.
Just awesome companions, and they have just such cool personalities. And yeah, I just love everything to do with it.
Nice. So what was something that made you smile? Was it looking out your window at your horses?
No, this is the coolest thing. So, our credit union is a little less than a year old. And so we've been doing loan applications kind of in person. And then we realized there's a lot of our members can't make in-person interviews. So, the obvious thing to do is just try and do the loan online. But we decided we wanted to keep that personal touch. So we started doing phone applications in the evening. And so I try not to ask anybody else to do something I'm not willing to do myself. And so I had my first loan application over the phone with this young man, 21 years old, trying to help him get a truck. And so at the end of the interview, I said, so this is the first time I've ever done, a phone, taken a loan application over the phone. I said, what was the experience like? Have any suggestions? He said, Miss Pam, I want to tell you, you did a really good job. This was really great. You just keep on keeping on, so here's this, 20-year-old, just encouraging me. And I was a little bit surprised as how really good it made me feel to get a compliment from him. So yeah, sweetheart.
That's so sweet. I love that. It's usually the other way around, right? That you encouraging the younger people, but how sweet was he?
Yeah, it was really special, really special. So when we got to help him, we got to help him with his truck. So yeah.
There you go. Get that truck, boy. That's something about boys and trucks, right? Yeah. My son has a diesel beast that, man, when that sucker starts, the windows rattle. I mean, it is just the louder the better, right? I guess. I don't know what it is, but big tires, big trucks, that's a boy thing. So I love it. Or a man thing, men too. So there you go.
Michelle, can you tell us a little bit about Growing Oaks? What sets you all apart? What you guys do?
Oh, I would love to share. So Growing Oaks offers financial stewardship classes, and this education is a 12-week program that individuals, and we'd like to have the families come actually because the children learn things as well. So they come once a week for 12 weeks, and we work through the curriculum, and that includes everything from goal setting all the way through, understanding your insurance that you have in your home and your auto, and looking at retirement options. And so it's a packed in 12 weeks, but we ask them to do the hard work as well, which is create that spending plan and work with a budget and make that, actually part of your normal process when you're paying your bills and when you're, getting yourself out of debt, because there's a lot of that nowadays. Growing Oaks Federal Credit Union is different because we partner with the members and we offer that continued support as we walk through their journeys towards their financial freedom. They learn to live life generously. So we don't want them just to pay their bills. We want them to thrive so that they can also then bless others, as they thrive in their own. We want them to thrive, but we also want them to learn how to bless others. And that's what we call living life generously.
And another really cool aspect that we work at is partnering with nonprofits and employers who are already doing some work along these lines with their clients or their employees. Maybe with their employees, they might have like an emergency payroll advance or something like that. Or at a nonprofit, they're doing some kind of care, life skills, and so forth. But they're kind of missing the financial experience and the ability to teach it and guide. And so we're able to come along in a real customized way, either through a class or a workshop or one-on-one, and kind of provide that missing piece for the employer or the nonprofit, and maybe even replace their payroll advance program with some small loans or doing these car loans. And then we can help once we get the member kind of into the Growing Oaks family, then we can unpack all of their financial goals and challenges, and we can work through all of those. We've got some consumer certified credit counselors on our team, and so we can really solve the problem rather than just kind of putting a Band-Aid on this week's financial challenge. And so we got some great people. So we got some great partnerships developing along those lines.
Oh, that's great. I love to see how, because banking can be stressful, right? I mean, banking can be hard. You think of listeners, you can't see our sweet ladies here, but when I think of bankers, I think of really nothing wrong with this, but older gentlemen in a three-piece suit, very serious, a little bit stern. That's not what you're getting here. So not what you're getting here. My family and I were becoming members of Growing Oaks because it feels like you're working with I keep saying family, but it feels like that. It's like we're going to sit down with the family member and talk about finances and talk about how to help us reach our goals. And it's so much easier. It's not scary and starched. And I don't know, you guys are just really, you're approachable.
Well, thank you. I will say that we have prayer every morning just as a gathering time and bear each other's burdens. We have members that come in and share in that experience as well, and sometimes specifically for that purpose. So it's very much so a family atmosphere.
See, that's not what you think of when you think of a bank, right? I think of anything but that. I don't think of that. So great job, ladies. Thank you for having that heart, adding the relational side to banking, because it's intimidating. Do you guys have a story to share about anybody in particular? I mean, you shared one about helping that couple, but do you have, I'm sure you have hundreds and hundreds of stories, but can you think of just one?
So Michael joined a company that we work with, and we were doing elevation station within that company in 2018. He had just come out of prison. He didn't have a place to stay. He didn't have custody of his daughter. He didn't have much hope for his future. But going through the elevation station journey, he learned to budget and lived within his means and thrived. He was able to purchase his home in April of 2021, and he got custody of his daughter. She has a place to call home now, and he's teaching her the same techniques and principles that he learned so that she can be further along in her journey at an earlier age. My favorite.
No, go. Keep telling us.
My favorite line from him when he was giving us his testimonial is, You have to write your goals down. If you don't, it's just a dream. So goals are written down. It's a dream if you don't write it down and work through it.
Wow. I can't even imagine how, I mean, it's hard for everyone to build the dream of owning a home, right? It's a hard process. It's a long process. You have to plan, you have to save, but I can't imagine the burdens of coming out of incarceration and still reaching that goal. I mean, that speaks hugely to your program for someone to be able to overcome the stigmatisms, the fees that you get when you get out of jail. You come out in debt from in jail on top of everything else that happened beforehand. So that was that to me is a big badge for you guys. Natanya, did you have a question for them or something you wanted to add?
I was just going to say that's one of the things, getting to know Michelle and Pam, that is just so obvious, is that it really, I mean, Tracy, you already said it too, that it just feels like family. And it's not where, because for me, and I've told them this already, they talk about the finance stuff and it goes over my head. I have no idea what they're talking about. But the aspect of banking and everything is complicated and it's confusing, especially if you don't have a straightforward financial past. And so one of the things that I so appreciate whenever I hear Michelle and Pam talking about what they do is that they have this thing that they do, but they never necessarily talk down, dumb it down. They just say, this is what it is, and this is how we're going to help you, and we're going to get through this. And there's always a we in there. And so I've so enjoyed learning about what they do and how they do it is what sets them apart. So.
Yeah, they don't make it intimidating, right? They make it, they're approachable. So if you're out there listening and you need some banking assistance, you need some financial planning assistance, Elevation Station, oh my goodness, you're going to be set. You're going to be set for any financial decision that you need to make in your life by completing this program. So can you give us, Ms. Pam, give us your URL where people can reach out to you?
growingoaksfcu.com. And we are revamping our website. I think it's within days of relaunching. And so you can check that out. There's also some information on growingoaks.com. We also have an association, a nonprofit that goes alongside of all of this. So that's where you can find us.
Great. How about a phone number?
405-652-0480.
There you go. For you old school people who just want to pick up the phone, there you go. You've got the number. We want to take a quick moment to thank our partners, Praxis Labs out of New York and Flourish OKC. Praxis is a creative engine for redemptive entrepreneurship supporting founders, funders, and innovators motivated by their faith to love their neighbors and to renew culture. Flourish OKC is a collection of experiences, storytelling, and educational exchanges that explore value they want to see cultivated in Oklahoma City, including education, restorative justice, and resettling refugees. Cultivate OKC would not exist without our amazing partners, and we thank them. Now let's jump back into the podcast. Okay, so we're a little bit about halfway through your cohort at Cultivate. You're about halfway through the program. Tell us how it has been beneficial to you all. Ms. Pam, you can start us, but what have you seen? What has been your return on your investment?
Yeah, it's we don't have enough time to get through all of it, and we're only halfway through the program. But some of on the micro side, of course, just getting some clarity in how we communicate our mission and our vision, that's been very helpful. The networking, with other folks, the mentors that come in and with a genuine interest and a lot to give. We get to spend some one-on-one time with them. That's been extraordinary. Personally, really, there's been two really substantial things. We spent a lot of so far we've been going through a lot of just leadership, like what does that look like to be a leader in a kingdom business or nonprofit. And so there's a framework, and it's really a cool framework about whatever we're doing is an exploitive model, an ethical model, or redemptive model. And I've lived by God's grace a lot of my career in that ethical. It's a good thing. We do good things, respectable things, and and that's important. But as I learned that there is this other place, this redemptive idea of where what we do can not just only serve, but it can serve to redeem a home or redeem a person. I feel like my career, in a sense, has been redeemed. Michelle talked about, kind of the remaking, the repurposing. It's not just about banking and finance anymore. It's about the member and their experience, and are they closer to Christ and stewarding their money more the way that God gives us an opportunity to, because we came alongside of them at some point in their journey. And so that whole idea of a framework for a financial institution that's redemptive, and so kind of how that looks, and it's really shaping our thought processes as we move forward. Even the whole like the loan application process, it's convenient to take it all online, get everything all squirreled away, give the yes or no. It's heavy lifting from a world's perspective to spend 45 minutes for a $2,000 or $3,000 loan. I mean, that's an ROI, forget about it, But if we're going to really help move someone forward, be a tool that they can use to move forward, we have to make that investment in the person. And that's what Jesus did. And then the other really thing that keeps me centered is what's my role in this and what's the Lord's role in this. I'm very performance motivated and a bit of a perfectionist. And, just to be able to relax in my role as the person who plants or the person who waters, and let God, the Lord of the harvest, do his part to move whatever important aspects of what we're doing, which I'm not wise enough to determine, let him move it forward. And, and that played out yesterday, Tracy, because we have these rules of life we talk about, and one of them has to do with rest. And so yesterday was the first time, because my birthday falls on the end of the month and end of the quarter, and I've always been CFO finance person. I would never take that day off, because my goodness, the books can't close, so what are we going to do? But yesterday I was like, what? God's got this. There's a great team there. It's not about me. And I was able to walk away and just enjoy my day. And the Lord of the harvest, he took care of it all, And that doesn't mean we shorten our work in any way. These talents that he's given folks like Michelle and I, all of this experience in banking and how I know how to run a credit union, It's like, because of that. Now, how am I going to use that for the Lord, and for his honor and glory? And it just looks so different to me in how that plays out going forward. So I would not have had those things in my thought process on October 1st, 2021, had I not spent the sessions I've had so far at Cultivate. And so now we turned a corner last time and are moving more into strategy and operations. We've already had one amazing, just wait till you see our little presentation that we have to do each time. Just wait till you see from one session, on strategy, how it just really turned a corner for us when we needed to go around that corner. And so I think that's what that team there is in Cultivate is doing, and the resources. I mean, you can call anybody and just like, does this sound like nutso, or does this sound like, ooh, this is powerful? The feedback that we get, the diversity of the team in their experience and where they are in their life. Just God's put a really cool group together there in Cultivate. We're honored to be in the first cohort, and just be praying for this thing just to go to the moon, man, for God's glory. So that's all it's done, Tracy. That's all.
That's all. That's not much at all.
This just reworked my whole brain.
Oh no, that's so great.
Michelle,
I'm glad.
Yeah, and Michelle might have something. I don't know if she's.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pam so eloquently says that, and I love it every time we talk about just what we've benefited from Cultivate and just the growth. I feel like I've personally grown in the leadership role. I've done a lot of support roles in my banking career, and I know a lot about different pieces, but now turning the corner, as she said, becoming the leader of something and allowing God to do his part. I've always wanted to be that control and make sure everything happened as the timing it should, but just letting go, doing my part, because you don't want to slip on that, but letting go and letting him do his part. Our main scripture that we like to say is, they will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor, in Isaiah 61:3. And that's just it. It's his splendor. He's going to make it all develop. We have to be okay with the decisions other people make, but we do our part and let him do his part.
That's the hard piece right there, isn't it? That's the piece of slowing down and trusting to let him do that. Pam referenced The Rule of Life. That's a book that we use as part of our training at Cultivate. It's a piece from Praxis out of New York, which is a business accelerator that's been around for 15 years. They have different accelerators actually all over the world. We're the only one that they partnered with in the States, so we're honored to do that. But one of the pieces she was talking about is time. Being intentional with our time and setting boundaries for ourselves and allowing, like Miss Pam said, to take a break on her birthday. The first time ever to take a break on your birthday, that's a big deal. And to let that go. And I've seen that as a tithe offering. We give our tithe, our financial gifts, to honor Jesus, saying we don't have to hoard all of our money and hoard it for us. We can let that go and trust you to do this. Well, I can let go and give you my time as well. And to know that you're going to use, God's going to do what he's going to do with that. And it's probably way more than what we would have accomplished, right, in that time. And sometimes you just got to slow down. You just got to allow yourself to do that. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy. Well, I'm glad that you guys have seen a lot of value of being a part of Cultivate. And like I said, we're only a little bit more than halfway through. So there's more to come. So ladies, what would you want to leave with our listeners today? What is your call to action, your motivational statement? How would you like to leave that today?
Okay. So, most of our listeners will get, stewarding our money, and, when we have money, we give away. We want to do, things that would honor the Lord with our money. And I think one of the light bulb went on for me when I thought about in banking that, we keep money on deposit, and that money is being used to do something by whatever financial institution it's on deposit with. And so for me, it's a new way, kind of a redemptive way to use my checking and savings account, to have them in a financial institution where that they are, investing time and effort and knowledge, in families to help move them forward. And so, my kind of challenge to you is it's, October 1st, what are your deposits doing? Wherever they're parked, what are they doing in your community? And is that in alignment with your worldview and your personal mission? We have that money we give away, and we have that money that we might need someday. And so that money we might need someday can be parked in a insured financial institution doing something really cool with members in the community and helping move families forward. So, hey, that's kind of just think about that think about what's going on with that deposit right now, and what would you like to be able to do with it? Yeah.
Nice. We're getting deep. We're getting deep with our finances today. Michelle?
Well, I would just like to say, if you own a business and you want to provide a benefit to your employees to learn about stewarding their funds in a better way, an employee who is secure in their finances and more stable in their home life, they're more productive. They're more in the moment when they're at work, so that they're not concentrating on the issues that may be arising at home, or troubles that are going on there. So if you would like to offer this to your employees, the Elevation Station classes, we would love to partner with you. And of course, organizations that have maybe redemptive purposes that they're trying to bring people out of darkness in lots of ways, we would like to partner with you as well to help you with the financial freedom that we'd like to partner with you to help those come out of that darkness and find their financial freedom and be good stewards of what God's given them, the second chance.
Awesome. Thank you. Will you give us your URL again, Miss Pam?
GrowingOaksFCU.com.
And phone number for the old schoolers?
405-652-0480, or email memberservices@GrowingOaksFCU.com.
Oh, there you go. Get the emails in there. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Well, ladies, thank you for taking the time today to be with us. We appreciate what you and your vision for Growing Oaks and helping people, especially the overlooked populations. Thank you for helping and caring about their finances.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So if you are listening today and you are a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, maybe you have been around for a year, maybe you've been around for 15 years, but you are at a pivotal place where you want to maybe change your focus, or something is changing in your business world and you're looking for maybe some direction, maybe some new ideas, we would love to meet with you and share with you more about our program, more about Cultivate, and how we're creating a redemptive culture in Oklahoma City. Natanya, would you give us share our URL so people know how to get a hold of us?
Yes, of course. It is www.cultivate.city.
Simple and sweet right there, just like Natanya. Simple and sweet. You're not simple. Simple in a non-complicated way. She's super smart, very smart, but she's not complicated. She's easy. All right. Well, ladies, thank you again. And our listeners, thank you for joining us for another conversation around Cultivate, around redemption, around changing the world. And we want to challenge you today to get out there and help one person in your life flourish. You can do more if you have capacity today to do more, but think about one person that you can do one thing or a couple things or whatever, maybe just smiling at somebody today to help them flourish in their day, to help them move forward, to find success. So get out there and make something good.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Cultivate OKC podcast. We are committed to helping everyone in OKC flourish, not just the privileged, connected, or credentialed, but everyone. That is why we exist, to nurture and multiply that movement. If you're an entrepreneur of a nonprofit or a for-profit and would like to learn more about the Cultivate Venture Accelerator, go to www.cultivate.city for more information. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of Cultivate OKC.